This video is a intro review for prime factorization. And here's a word bank. If you want to try to do it by yourself before I give you the answers, pause the video, give it a try. Okay, let's go over the answers. Prime factorization is the act of breaking down a number or dividing. So we're looking for missing factors. Factors are numbers you multiply, and to look for them, you're going to have to divide them. And you're dividing them down until you get to prime factors. One way that we've learned to complete that is with a factor tree. Now here's the key. You may start with any factors. There's just two exceptions. You may start with any factors except the number 1 and the number itself. You could start with the number 1 and the number itself, but you would just be endlessly, if the number was 5, you'd just be entering 1 times 5, 1 times 5, 1 times 5, and you would not be factoring or dividing it or simplifying it. Okay, once you don't select the number 1 or the number itself, you factor or divide until you are left with only only prime factors. So there's two requirements on your answer. Multiplying the factors together should be equivalent to your original number. That's an easy way to check. If your expression is equivalent to your original number, you probably have the right answer. Although, there's one more requirement. All numbers have to be prime numbers. So check and make sure that all of the numbers in your answer are prime numbers. Let's look at some quick examples. In this example for the number 24, I have already selected 4 and 6. 4 has only two factors other than 1 times 4, and that would be 2 times 2. Since those are prime, I'm going to circle them. And the only two factors that would fit for 6 are 2 times 3. Those are also prime. Now when you write your answer, you put them in numerical order from least to greatest. You can see that there's 3 of the number 2. So the base number would be 2, and you're multiplying it 3 times. This means 2 times 2 times 2. 3 of them. 2 times 2 times 2. And then times the number 3. So the answer is 2 to the third power times 3. Let's look at this example. I've already selected 4 times 9. Factors of 4 would be 2 times 2. Since those are prime, I'm going to choose to circle them so I know that I'm using them. Factors of 9 would be 3 times 3. So your answer would be 2 to the second power, because there's 2 of them, times, and sometimes we use a dot for times in algebra, times 3, also to the second power because there's 2 3s. Now if you want to double check, you'll enter that into your calculator, or you'll multiply to find out 2 to the second times 3 to the second is 36. So this is the correct answer. Try 60 on your own. Pause the video, and then I'll go over the answer. So 60, well, you could start with many different things, and yours may look different than mine. But since it's got a 0 in the original number, I'm going to type 6. I'm going to enter 6 times 10. Well, 6 is not prime. I can factor it again to get 2 times 3, which are prime numbers. 10 can be factored also, 2 times 5. And then when I write my answer, I would write it in order from least to greatest. Well, there's 2 of the 2, so it's 2 to the second power times, and then there's 1 3 times, and then there's 1 5. So the answer would be 2 to the second power times 3 times 5. That should equal 60 if we did it right. Hopefully you tried 125 on your own. Well, when I think about money, I think about quarters. 5 quarters would be $1.25. So 5 times 25. I know that 5 is a factor because it ends with a 5. I also know that 25 is a factor because it ends with 25. 5 is a prime number, but 25 is not. Sometimes, to keep you from missing a number, people recommend that you bring prime numbers down so it's all on one row. So it's 5 times 5 times 5. So the way you would write that with exponents is 5 to the third power. That means you're multiplying 5 times 5 times 5. 3 times. After you finish this, you can turn this in.